Hey guys, so I'm at the pharmacy at the drugstore, and I chose this spot because I figured it'd be more familiar for me to explain about SPF at a setting that you're usually used to shopping for your sunscreen. When it comes to SPF strength, 30 protects about like 97% of the sun rays versus about 50 protects about 98%. And dermatologists also agree, they don't really recommend anything above 50 is really needed or necessary, because after SPF 50, the amount of increase in how much it could protect more doesn't really significantly increase. Therefore, about 50 is good. And the reason I recommend 50 versus 30, even though it's only 1% difference in the protection increase, is the fact that when people test for SPF strength, the product is usually tested applying about 2 millimeters thickness of the product. But in reality, people only apply about 1/3 of that amount on their skin. So even if I'm applying SPF 50, I'm probably not achieving the full SPF 50 protection effect. And also make sure that you always look for the fact that it says broad spectrum coverage. Now, when it comes to UVA and UVB rays, they're both important to be protected from, because the UVB rays are the ones that you usually see. Those are the ones that are causing those sunburns, versus the UVA rays are the ones that hit deeper into your skin layers, where it actually damages the basal layer cells. So it is important to have a broad spectrum protection in your sunscreen. So now that we've reviewed the SPF strength and also the broad spectrum coverage aspect of sunscreens, I'm going to move on to the two different types of sunscreen ingredients. Usually you could divide them into a chemical-based sunscreen or a mineral-based sunscreen, or people sometimes call it physical-based. Chemical-based sunscreens usually use a man-made or synthetic chemical ingredient to protect your skin under the sun. Usually these are the ones, when you look at the back, the directions usually ask you to apply it about 20 to 30 minutes prior to sun exposure. Next, mineral-based sunscreen. These contain a sun-blocking ingredient that's a mineral, so usually titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. You don't need to have a waiting period for it to start working to protect your skin under the sun. These work immediately. So now you must be asking, so which one should I use? Should I use a chemical, mineral/physical-based sunscreen? Great question. So usually chemical-based sunscreens, because it's a synthetic chemical, man-made chemical that's used inside to block the sun, and it requires you to absorb into the skin, it actually sometimes creates a lot of adverse reactions. Like people get skin irritations from it, or some kind of skin reaction to it. So if you have really sensitive skin, I don't really highly recommend chemical-based sunscreens. When it comes to mineral-based sunscreens, because it uses actual minerals to almost create this like umbrella-like effect, like a protection layer over your skin, sometimes people find it have this conception, oh, it makes me break out, it's like clogging my pores, or it feels heavy. But that all depends on the way that it was formulated. There are plenty of sunscreens out there that have been formulated with titanium dioxide or zinc oxide, mineral-based ingredients that work immediately, but they've been formulated to absorb quickly without the white residue and not heavy or greasy at all. This all depends on the brand and the company's capabilities and their technologies used in the formulation of their sunscreen. So as I said, there's also different formula types. There's spray versions, there's stick versions, and there's just those lotion ones that everybody's probably used to lathering on their skin. For the sprays and the sticks, those are convenient for, I feel, a lot of people who are active outdoors. They're like runners or people who are doing sports outdoors, especially on the beach, because when you have sand and stuff on you, you kind of don't want to have to touch your skin. But honestly, for your face, I really recommend lotion or cream types, because with sprays, you really don't know how much you're getting on. But when you use a cream or a lotion, you really know, because you're lathering it on there, and you know you're getting it on every single surface area of your face. So at least when it comes to sunscreen for your face, I really recommend cream or lotion types. So I know I mentioned to you guys that not all mineral-based sunscreens feel heavy, greasy, oily, and leave that white residue. It all really depends on the brand or the company's capabilities and their formula technologies that they apply in their sunscreen formulas. I have right here the Neogen Code 9 UV Defense Long-Lasting Protector, which has an SPF strength of 50, and it also has UVA and UVB coverage, so it's broad spectrum coverage, as well as the Neogen Dermalogy Daylight Protection Sunscreen, which also has SPF 50 and a broad spectrum coverage. This is the one that's sold on Sephora.com, was also part of that Sephora's Sun Safety Kit. Now, both of these are both mineral-based sunscreens, but they do not leave that white residue. They absorb clean and fresh. They don't have any oily finish to it or greasy, clogging, heavy feeling when you put it on. So let's first try the UV Defense Long Lasting Protector. This is a water-based formula. So as you can see, let me just put a little bit more on there. It doesn't leave that white residue. Like automatically, most sunscreens that are mineral-based, you can tell because it leaves that streak of white and you have to really just keep lathering it in until it actually fully absorbs, until you can't see that white. But see, there's no white cast. It absorbs clean and fresh. Also, I should put a piece of paper. Usually all the other ones, they usually stick. But this, look, it's like, it's very hydrating, yet there's no greasy finish to it. So it's a really, really great hydrating sunscreen that will still give you that immediate mineral-based sunscreen protection with a strength of SPF 50 and a broad spectrum coverage without all those concerns that most people have about applying sunscreen. Now moving on to the Neogen Dermalogy Daylight Protection Sunscreen. This also is a mineral-based sunscreen, and this also, like, look, it just absorbs. It doesn't do that white cast. It absorbs really clean. It also has really great hydrating ingredients. Both of these actually do. They additionally have hydrating ingredients that almost makes them feel not exactly like a sunscreen, but it actually makes them feel like a moisturizer. These are really two sunscreens that really don't feel like a sunscreen, and you will never, ever have to be concerned about those typical problems that you experience with other sunscreens that are mineral-based.